All right, hello everyone. Thanks for attending our webinar today. I'm just going to go through some housekeeping items before we get going. My name is Phil, and I am the Educational Technology Committee, ETC representative for La Cité in Ottawa. The Virtual Lunch and Learn webinar series is brought to you by the ETC. The ETC is comprised of members from all 24 colleges in Ontario. The sharing of ideas, best practices, and teaching and learning strategies related to the use of technologies inside and outside the classroom is a central characteristic of the committee and the inspiration for this webinar series. So in addition to this webinar, we have 6 more coming up in the series, one of which is in French. Do visit our website to sign up for our webinar series. Our next webinar is Innovation, Blended Learning, and Community of Inquiry Framework on February 18th at 11. I'll be posting some links in a minute, so you'll be able to click on those. So if you ever want to facilitate a webinar, there will be no webinars for the summer term. However, we have started accepting volunteers for the fall 2020 term. So to submit a proposal, just click on the website that I'll be posting in a minute. Take the opportunity to talk about our upcoming Advancing Learning Conference. So this year it's going to be at Seneca College. Dare to be Curious is the theme. So make sure to put that in your calendar, and hope to see you guys at Advancing Learning this year. It's going to be May 12th to 14th, 2020 at the King Campus. And last thing here, if you ever want to join our mailing list to get more information about upcoming webinars for the fall term or opportunities to facilitate, etc., please sign up for our mailing list and we'll keep in touch with you. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Terry Steeves from Fleming College. He will be facilitating this today's webinar on a digital learning technology bank. So I'll stop sharing my screen in a second. I'll let you, Terry, take over.
Okay. Can everyone hear me? You hear me okay? While I madly try to remember how to share. There it is. Awesome. There it is. Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Terry Greene. I'm the Digital Learning Advisor at Fleming College. I'll pause for a moment so you can write that down. Just kidding. No one has to do that. So I'm going to tell you about something called the Fleming Digital Learning Technologies Inventory, which is operational but not yet complete. So I'm looking for some feedback on what people think. And if people want to chime in anytime, please do. You can chime in through the chat room, and I think Phil, you don't mind having a look and reminding me if things come up there, or
Sure.
Feel free to chime in with your voice. Happy to have this not a one-way conversation. Oh, and there's the bit.ly is to this slide deck, and obviously we all love webinars, so that's what and for Valentine's Day I used I love webinars. That the I is a uppercase. That's important when you're filling out the bit.lys for it to work. So anyway, today I'm gonna I don't know if anybody's ever experienced liberating structures. This is going to be very loosely based on a liberating structure called what, so what, now what. So I'm going to tell you what it is, obviously, the tech bank first, and then we'll do a little bit of extra so what and now what afterwards to get some ideas of where to go next. All right, let's go. So what is it? I will tell you the origin story. I guess it was last summer or so, Fleming College put out its newest strategic plan, and in that strategic plan was a mention of a digital learning technologies inventory. And then I returned from, I was on a secondment to eCampus Ontario for almost 2 years, and upon returning, there was an opportunity to move into the digital learning advisor role. And so I was successful in that. And then they said, hey, you see this thing in the strategic plan? You need to make that. And I said, okay. So that's the origin story. So getting outfitted to make the Digital Learning TechBank was a few things had to be in place, and they already were to make it actually easier than I thought. So last fall, Alana Callan had a one of these webinars about our domains, Domain of One's Own project. So that being in place allowed me to very quickly grab one of those domains. So that's the space that this thing is in. And the other thing about our domains project is that it's not a pilot, but we're trying to focus on applied projects being the space that use these domains first and foremost. And so that gave me the opportunity to put this in as an applied project. So I had a team of students working with me to create this bank in this domain. And the third piece of the puzzle, and I'll show you more about all this stuff in a bit, the third piece of the puzzle was that there are these beautiful, free, openly available WordPress themes called SPLOTs. The SPLOT acronym is kind of a running joke as to what it stands for. You can pick what it really stands for, but one is that it's the simplest possible learning object tool, something like that. Anyway, openly available WordPress theme that is a place to collect things, and it's as simple as possible. People don't need to sign up for any account in order to submit things to it. It was the perfect fit. So those three things: the domains, the applied project, and a SPLOT. Please let me know if you have any questions. I don't want to gloss over anything or skip over stuff that you want to know more about. So I'm in no rush. There's lots of stuff to talk about, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anyway, the Fleming TechBank, the idea was for it to be a place, or that's what this has become. It's a place for students and faculty to come and get an idea of what learning technologies are available to them, and to get an overview of them, and to think about whether or not they want to use them, or whether they need to know more about them. So it's an open gate. Come in to find out more, and if you do want more, and actually tutorials and stuff like that, we'll send you to where it is. But it's basically a filter to allow people to know what's out there quickly, and then not in an overwhelming way. So instead of just jabbering on about it, let's actually go look at it. So here's a look at it, and we're going to just do a little bit of a tour. Up here, you can see it'll track how many technologies have been collected so far. And then down here is a list of current categories that we will that we think faculty and students will find helpful, because most people will come here and choose the most applicable category more than just touring through the entire list. I originally had it set to have a big about page as the landing page, but I figured we could just have a quick little few sentences here so that people who come in can immediately see that there are things here and not have to like go through a bunch of text before they get an idea of what it is. And this is the most exciting functionality, I think, is that everyone is allowed to add to the bank. So anyone can come in, click, and submit whatever they want. And I moderate it. It doesn't just automatically publish. You can set these things that way, but I don't want someone to make duplicates, or because this one conceptually is about learning technology, and still you got to draw the line somewhere. Like Word Microsoft Word, is that a learning technology or is it a technology we're using? You got to draw a line somewhere so that this isn't a super overwhelming space, if that makes sense. And you can argue whether things should be in or not, but I'm the moderator. I get the final decision at this point, I guess. So someone, say for example, a student brand new to the college doesn't know what D2L is, which is D2L is our learning management system. So someone might send them to this category, D2L for students. And we also have D2L for faculty because we want them to see the from their perspective. So this is it. This is all we've covered. Overall, what is D2L? And then a few of the tools, because if we listed all like 40 tools that are in there, it would just quickly get overwhelming. And we don't want to scare people off. So I have a question. Leslie, does it indicate in the summaries whether the tech offers advanced accessibility or if it is accessibility friendly? Not at this point, but that's a great idea. I'm not sure, and Gina's here. How would you assess whether it's advanced accessibility or not? I'm not sure. Any thoughts? Just waiting. We see Gina's typing madly. Go, Gina, go. It really is. Okay. See if it complies to WCAG guidelines. So yeah, that can be one of the things we monitor, whether it can be read by a screen reader for more advanced. Okay. Yeah, so that's exactly why I want to show it before we call it fully complete. But the gist is, if we want students to have an idea of what D2L is as a whole, they can come here and quickly see an overview of it and the main tools we think are important. Always saying there are more, go check out more if you want. So say you want people to know how to use the Dropbox. You'd come in and see a screenshot. And this is the gist of what I want people to see: the who, what, when, where, why. Who would use it? What is it? When would you use it? Where, and the how is the actual, like, you leave the tech bank now and you actually go to the best tutorials I can find. That's the gist of it. And sorry, just checking the chat. So there are, we need to I think, improve any screenshots for accessibility, and maybe take them out. So anyway, there's some work to do. A category, yeah, a category can be added to the summary and something like level of accessibility. That's great. I am going to work on fleshing out this category, accessibility. So we have this one tool that was suggested, that because it's available to all students, but Jody Black, she's one of our teaching learning specialists that focuses on UDL. She provided me a list of things that we should add, but not tool specific so much, but like use specific. So getting things to read aloud to you, getting things to shape the accessibility of a document, or however that, whatever those things are, they will appear in this category when it's all set. So another example might be that a new faculty you want to send into D2L and how to the functionality of it. But again, it's just who, what, when, where, why. That one's not even done yet. Sorry. And with link to more. Do I work with IT to gather the tools? Yes. Yep. I'm going to take it to all kinds of department meetings to ask what's missing and collect that feedback. I've got on this about page right here a form for feedback, so I can get their suggestions. And I lost it. There it is. Yeah, it was do you remember the name of the WordPress theme used? Was it a SPLOT theme? Yeah, I'll cover that for sure. It is a SPLOT, and at 12:45, I have a special guest going to join us to talk more about SPLOT. So let's save it for him. Okay. While we're still here, I'm still calling this the tour part. Is there anything you would like to see any more closely while we're still here, or before we go back to the slide deck? Just see some typing. I'll wait to see what pops up. So what's in the classroom technology? So this is real broad, and so far it's all that IT has asked to be in here. So it just is meant to be, say, a new faculty, contract faculty is coming for the first time, and they need a general idea of what they're going to find in the classroom. And this can be fleshed out a lot, and maybe even should be another entire bank. But we have this overall, like this kind of overview of our AV cabinets done by, that's not me, just so you know, that's someone that everyone here, we think that we are each other, that the everyone think that's me. It's not. That's Steve Higgs. Anyway, this is just an overview. Can you comment on how many resources are currently involved in maintaining this? Okay, so yeah, I will tell you more about the students at this point. They are still involved, but they're going, they're taking it further because the SPLOTs made this too easy. They were done too quickly. We were done too quickly, so we have to go a little deeper with it. And so there's another tool coming, and it's going to be pretty awesome, I think. Any other questions? Okay, so let's go back to the slides. So now I'd like to, that idea of the liberating structure of, that's what it is, but so what? Let's talk about so what. So let's go to Menti. I'm sure a bunch of you have used menti.com before, but can you go to menti.com and put in that code? And I'll just go to the page now, and you'll still see the code there. 757467. You can use just your phone or the computer you're at. But I want to talk about this question. I want just to see answers come in on these questions, and we'll chat about what comes up. Why is this important? What good can it do? And what would you do if you had one of these things? I should have some Jeopardy music to play. So we got our first one, centralized resource of technology, build collaboration and central. This is nice. One-stop shop. So that purple one in the middle, manage inquiries from both faculty and students, I think was the nugget that drove administration here to want this kind of thing, so that we would be able to say a quick and dirty place for you to know what's available to you and how to get it. Yeah, I see this exposure to different tools and technology. That's what I hope happens. Like, I hope someone can come in here and say they came to look for a D2L tool, but then they saw, oh, WordPress blogs. We have WordPress blogs. What's that? What can I do with that? And then hopefully it's a rabbit hole for some people to know a little bit more. Yeah, helps our memory, have useful tools in one. It's helping my memory because I'm realizing there's still a bunch of pretty obvious things missing that I haven't got to yet. but I like being able to put it out there even before it's done. Like, I don't think it'll ever be done. We don't want to stop. Some things should be taken out at some point. Some things should be added, of course. Oh, this is going too fast. Oh, there we go. I can pause it. Place for faculty to find a tool they need. Yeah. So that's another piece. I'm looking at this one. A place for faculty to find a tool they need without knowing the name. The group of students is, especially for classroom technology, like hardware and stuff, are developing a QR code system, so we could put a code next to a TV or a WebEx fancy huge iPad thing, some of the things that we have, I don't even know what they're called. And so that maybe a QR code could be shared in a short link so that they don't even need to know the name of what they're looking at, and they could find the information about it. Instead of trying to search like huge TV in this room, they can just use the code, use the link, and get the exact specific information. So that's part of the next phase of the work with the students. I'm going to resume the scroll. If I'm missing someone's thoughts that they had added and they would talk a bit about, let me know. We got some time here. Pause it for a sec. Make technology more readily available and less intimidating. Oh, and if you do want to just talk, like unmute and talk about what you put in, please let me know. I'm happy to share the stage here. So make technology more readily available and less intimidating. Absolutely. I hope that's what it is. And that's why it's kind of a fine line you have to walk. I think when I took it to a coordinators meeting in the trades and technology, and they mentioned that like any more on a page and it would be overwhelming and just shut people down. So when they were originally conceptualizing this as an inventory, I was picturing like just a spreadsheet, a huge long list that I didn't think that would be all that fun to work with or exciting, but more of a curation that is a bit of like a sales pitch for why you might want to use it is a little more effective. And also the asking people to join makes it more of a talking point, I think. Did you collect feedback from faculty? This is in the chat. Did you collect feedback from faculty and students prior to building the database to see what they thought would be helpful? I kind of did it a little. I'm trying to do both at the same time. I had to build something that so you could see what it would be, and now I'm taking it to all these coordinator meetings to say, here's what we have. Tell us what's missing, and we will add it. Yeah. Approximately how many staff work on this? How are updates needed? It's me working on it with those students at this point. So it's tricky. That's why I want to keep it simple as well. Like, I'm not creating tutorials for any of these things. I'm finding the best tutorials I can to link to, because that's just going to be overwhelming. It's just supposed to be this, filter to pass through to find this stuff. Do you only share tools that your college has paid for? No, definitely the ones we've paid for should be there so that we hopefully get full use out of them. But also there are, like, if I go back to this category is going to grow web tools because they're usually on in the cloud and you go to your browser to use them, like Hypothesis, stuff like that. So this is where it's definitely a curation because you're never going to have all the web tools. But where was I going with that? Yeah, some of these will be things that I know a bunch of people here use. Some of these are things I hope people might want to use. And again, I'm trying to get people's ideas of what we do use out there. Like, for example, another thing that's not here yet, but should be, is Kahoot, because it's used a lot, but also apparently now you have to pay for it if it's over 50 for a big class. So some teachers are kind of reeling with that news. So now we have to have the discussion here. Do we want it? Like, maybe it's a good thing you have to pay. Maybe they don't take so much of your students' data anymore. I don't know how it all works, but I'd love to have Kahoot in here because a lot of people find it fun, but I also like to know if we use it so much that we should be trying to buy it or not. Like, I hope this is a conversation starter space. Okay, I'm gonna head back to the Meister. What else have I missed? Are there any nice juicy ones I've missed that people saw? Sarah says they haven't, yeah, similar at whether we should purchase. I'd be interested, like maybe sometimes it's better to pay because you're not paying in them finding out too much information about our students. Who knows? I'm just looking at some of the mentees. And like, I think people who come to it will be quick to notice if something they love to use is missing, so and will let us know, which is great because it sparks a conversation again. We're trying to also at the same time get folks here to join a Microsoft team called the Virtual Teachers Lounge so that we can have these kinds of conversations and take all that conversation out of an email inbox and put it in somewhere where we can all be talking together, kind of like a Slack kind of place. And it's slow going getting people in there. We got lots of people in there, but to get people to actually ask questions and have that conversation there and conceptually take that out of their email inbox and put those discussions there. It takes some time, but I'm going to keep harping on people to use it. Is Nearpod in your toolbox? No, I don't know how many people use Nearpod here. That's one of the things I just hope to hear from people if they do use it. Okay, what time? We got 12:30. So I'm going to go to the next question now, unless anyone has one in here that they wanted me to talk about. I'll give you a 10-second count in my head. Okay, let's go. So the third part of this liberating structure, what, so what, now what? What should we do next? What would you do next? What's missing? We kind of talked about that a bit. And what actions make sense? What would you do if you were me with this thing? Or what would you do at your institution if you had one of these or were thinking of making one? Share with other institutions. Include as part of new faculty orientation. That's great. Yeah, we have absolutely. And then new student orientation too. So if whoever, two people are saying share with other institutions, do you mean share the idea or have a massive college-wide tech bank like this, or would that just get out of hand? And sure, it's not a fire and forget program. It's utilized. Yeah, that's it's easy for sometimes to be like go off to the next shiny thing and try another thing, but yeah, continue to promote is a great idea. So collaborate Ontario-wide on something like this. That would be interesting for sure. So someone entered, I am actually slowly creating one for myself. It certainly feels a need. Does that person want to talk with the old voice and not text and tell us what you're doing? Sorry, I don't know. You don't have to if you don't want to. I don't want to put you on the spot. We don't know who you are yet, so don't worry if you don't want to, but would love to hear. I'm sure I'd love to hear someone else's voice at this point. So we have, what else? Training and awareness. What kind of training do you think this would require, or is it just about awareness? I'm not sure. Oh, hello.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Coyote. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that there were people with their hands up. I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I said training and awareness.
Yep.
For example, when you promote it, you let people know about it.
Mm-hmm.
So then you now need to train them in how to use the resources, because just looking at the interface is not enough to to explain to you how these resources, where to grab something or where to update and all that.
Right.
So then providing some kind of training to people, even if it's just a short manual or something that people can read and oh, this is where I find things, or this is where I need to go to. So that's what's involved in the training aspect of it.
Right. Yeah. So every page is meant to at least give people the chance to find out how to use it, but perhaps it could be used. Yeah, there's like in Hypothesis, there's a little video tutorial, but perhaps it could have some sort of functionality to ask people to let us know what they would want, like workshops on, what they would prefer to have, not just a video, but more hands-on training about, and it can help feed our ideas of what to talk about and what to deliver. And yeah, those links to our training calendar or something could be added on every page, maybe. How does the tool play into with subscriptions? Or yeah, sorry, I gotta find that one. I missed it. Just scrolled by. It was something like, how does the tool play into tools which have subscriptions, and who has the subscriptions? Basically, it's tricky. Like going back to Kahoot, I know some people here use it. Other people have no idea what it is. So maybe if I create a Kahoot page, it could say something like, this is what it is and this is how you use it. You can use it for free if you're doing it for under 50. If you are interested in using it for over 50 classes, contact us and we'll see what we can do. I'm not sure. We have to develop a process for dealing with it, but at least this thing could, start a conversation, which is basically what I hope this does, get people engaged in what technology we are using and what we have, and maybe it'll lead to us knowing that we have paid for technology that no one wants to use, and maybe we can get rid of it. I'm not sure. Just checking the chat here. Add more EdTech tools and better filtering search options. Yeah, so there is search, but I think the magic is in properly categorizing everything, because things can be in different categories. But yeah, this needs a little bit of work to be clear as to what people can find, and then maybe the search thing could be moved up here. Yeah, it's trying to be a SPLOT. The S is usually for simple. Trying to keep it as simple as possible, but it's easy to go into overwhelming territory. Oh, Padlet, good idea. Yeah, there's things that that are not there that I'm like, oh my God, how do I not have Padlet in there yet? It's tricky. Shauna in the chat says, work study students helped me create this site many years ago, which provides info on whether the tool is free, which faculty often ask, and provides links. Needs updating. Cool. I'm just going to it real quick. Oh yeah, nice. That looks great. I'm going to go on this and borrow ones and make sure I know what I've missed. Thank you, Shauna. So before we head back to the slide deck, we got 10 minutes till our special guest arrives. Are there any more on this now what page that I haven't talked about that are anybody who saw them thought we should bring up? Could the subscription constraints be a separate field that's included in the tool's description? Yeah, with contact information for those who are interested. Yeah, that's a good idea. So, or even in its own category, because things can be have multiple categorization. There should be a category of needs subscription or something like that. Yeah. There's a Humber viewing party. That sounds awesome. I wish I was there. Humber viewing party is typing. Testimonials, that's a good idea. Oh, I just remembered one thing. WordPress blogs. I would to get a couple of student examples. I asked if they were okay with me putting them up there. So I asked one of the COM 201 profs who might want to, and they gave me a great couple examples, and they were happy to be included. So more often I should try to find exemplars to share as well. Okay, I'm gonna head back to the slides. Oh, and I leave the slides. Sorry. So back to the story of how this came about. In one of our second or third meeting with the students, and we were kind of conceptualizing it still. And I said, and I thought of a SPLOT, and I said, here, look at this thing that's out there, just an example of another one. Should we use something like this? Because the students, they're from the wireless information networking program, and they were imagining, building from scratch the database and the website and tons of work. And we thought, well, maybe this will work. And we whipped it up in no time and started building, and we were done far before they thought they would be done, and they had all this time to work on this big project, applied project that goes over semesters. So we met with I'm their mentor, but they have an advisor who said, we talked to her and we came up with a plan to go deeper. So soon, they're working on it now. You'll see with the same functionality of a SPLOT, I believe. Maybe they're going to go a different route, but we're going to have not just for learning technology, but the program technology bank. So it'll be a site where each program has a category, and if you go to it, will be an overview of everything they use, all the tools, all the technology, not worried about whether it's learning technology or not. There will be, for their program, there's all these routers and switches, and so they'll have pictures and links to how to use them. And so they're going to do their program first and then take it to other programs to see if that program is interested in having an inventory of the tools for their program to then share out to new students. And it'll help upcoming students know what they're getting into, and just keep track of academic programs. Yeah, like the program that these students are in is the wireless information networking program. So they're going to collect all the stuff they use into a page like these as their own category. Does that make sense? Yeah, yeah. So some programs probably won't have something like this, but other ones will probably find it pretty helpful, I believe. So if anybody sees a pop-up that says Alan Levine has joined, let me know, because I don't want to miss him when he comes here. Are there any more? I'm just looking at the chat. Oh yeah, yeah. Western's e-learning toolkit is great. Tiffany, we have a D12 course that we include all students enrolled in that program, and we use it to send out messages, interviews, tutoring times, etc. Tiffany, sorry, which college are you from? Lambton. Awesome. So everybody, all students in the program, right? Power engineering. Yeah. So if that program had a category on the program bank, that if you had one, that could be included in that course, and they could have just this nice page of all the stuff that they're going to be working with. Yeah, like a homeroom. We've done that before too, a D12 program page. Yeah. Yeah. Or you could just use a website. So if there's nothing that has to be specifically only shown to students in the course, you could just make a website. Okay, so a few more minutes until our special guest arrives, and I just want you to imagine, like, pretend like this whole time you've been hearing Chewbacca talk to you about stuff, and very soon you're going to have actual Yoda come in with some actual wisdom to tell you about all this stuff and how it works. When he joins, he said he'd be here at 12:45. Alan Levine is going to be here. He's the guy that created the SPLOTs, built them, continues to build them, and he puts them out for free in GitHub and on his site, and they're unbelievable. They're for so many different uses, and I just want him to come and kind of give us an idea of where they came from. But while we wait for him to show up, let me go to the SPLOT site. Because I'm a little early. Oops. So if you'll see this SPLOT acronym changes every couple minutes, up a couple seconds, because nobody has decided what it actually stands for. But here are all the different things they can do. The SPLOT point, I think, is a simple way to make a presentation. Here's the collectors are specific. The TRU collector, someone asked earlier, what's the WordPress theme? It's the TRU collector SPLOT, which is the WordPress theme, and I believe it's based on another theme. So Alan can let us know how that works. But basically, like, it takes no time to whip it up, and you can start to collect stuff without students or anyone having any kind of account or login. So say for a program, like I'm thinking at Fleming has at the Frost campus, which is all about natural resources and those sciences, and there's a whole lot of collecting of and identifying plants, trees, fish, birds, animals. So how cool would it be for them to easily have a space to snap a shot of something they see while they're out there? Because the students at that campus never want to be inside. They always want to be out in the forest. How cool would it be to have a simple place to take a shot and load it up to a SPLOT with a tag that says that's this bird, and as a group they collect, you know, a collection of all the birds that they've seen throughout the term. It'd be pretty fun and easy, and a nice way to kind of enable actual sharing amongst students. Sometimes LMSs make it a little too difficult for students to work together on stuff. So these, I think, provide a way around that. Has anyone noticed if Alan has joined us yet? I don't think so. Oh, someone's joining. Is it Alan? Let's see. Are there any questions about that while we see if this is him? And you can ask him, obviously. He'll have a better answer. Let's head back to the chat, see if there's any questions. Hey, here he is. Hello, Alan. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can, Terry. How you doing?
Yay, welcome. I got to
What's
show you the slide I used to this was how I introduced you already before you came in. I said, this is me for the last 45 minutes. This will be Alan for the next 15 minutes. So Yoda is here.
Which one am I?
You're Yoda. I'm Chewbacca.
Oh, no, that's totally wrong. Well, what have you been telling them? You've been showing your bank?
I was showing the bank and
Yeah.
telling them how it's a SPLOT, and I wanted to hopefully have you come in to tell them where did SPLOT come from? What is it? How do they work? How can they use them?
Okay, very well. I take no credit for the name, and I love that it's ambiguous. It came from a time in late 2014, early 2015, when I had a open learning fellowship at Thompson River University with Brian Lamb and crew out there, a lot of people I should name. Brian kind of sat me down the first night, and he had this idea that he wanted me to pursue, of which he just had the acronym and sort of a general concept. So he said it could stand for, I forget now, smallest possible learning online technology or tool. But the idea was, at the time, as in Canadian institutions, there was a lot of concern over some of the use of services that were based in the U.S. because of the Patriot Act and possible transfer of data overboard the border. And so Brian's question was, can we sort of develop some small single-purpose tools that don't require the giving away of information, or if they do, let people opt in.
Right.
And that was the beginning of the idea of working on some of these SPLOTs. And most of them, not necessarily, but they've been done because it offered a lot of affordances. That's where some of my expertise is, as WordPress themes that allow people to set up sites, to let people contribute content without necessarily learning WordPress or even seeing the inside of WordPress. And so that was another driver. Was that often, WordPress is great, but you often get mired down. What's a page? What's a post? What's all these links on the side of the menu? When really sometimes you may want your students just have to come in, maybe to share an image they found that's open license, or to do a writing assignment. So those were some of the things I got to experiment with, and the beauty of that fellowship was I got a lot of time and support and ideas from people at TRU to push out some of these. And the one you used, the TRU's in the name, TRU Collector, that came about because two of their instructional designers were leading a workshop on using open license media, and they said, like, is there any way that sort of people, we can send people on these exercises, have them find open license media, but have them have a place where they can sort of share what they found and make sure they, describe the source and include the license under which it was shared. And so that was the beginning of TRU Collector, which was really built around images. But like the way you've used it, you can actually have all kinds of content that you sort of use the image as the representation of.
Right. What are some new new advancements in SPLOT technology?
SPLOT technology. There's the one that's, I have one called the Writer, which is more or less a platform for enabling people to write rich media content in sort of a shared format. And so some of the things I've been doing is to kind of simplify the setup, so it doesn't need as many things to be done, secret accounts, et cetera, set up on the user side. But
Right.
the most exciting one is this thing called SPLOT Box, which actually I developed later, building off of some of the earlier work. It's sort of a broad-based way to collect media. You can decide whether you want students to contribute things from YouTube or Vimeo or SoundCloud or Adobe Spark or the Internet Archive, but you can also have them upload images and sound files. And the latest little experiment was setting it up so you could actually record audio directly into it. And I have a demo going of it actually running as sort of a collaborative podcasting platform. So you can invite people to record or upload little segments, and as the site owner, you can moderate them, or they can go directly on the site. But it could sort of be almost a kind of a all-in-one podcasting platform.
Awesome. Has anyone taken up a SPLOT box yet?
Some people are trying. I know a collaborator, Joe Murphy at Kenyon College in Ohio, is doing some experimentation, and
Yeah.
he's saying, well, can it be possible to do video as well? And actually, it is. So we're exploring that as a possibility. But yeah, that one's still a little bit new and experimental. But people have been making use of the SPLOT box quite some time. One of my favorite ones was by J.R. Dingwall at University of Saskatchewan, who set up a site for students in a geology class where the assignment was for students to curate videos from YouTube that explain geological processes. So
Right.
students were finding the resources, and then they had sort of a format they had to use to sort of write up their review of these resources.
Wow, that sounds awesome. So it's like endless how many ways you could use these things, right? I think.
Yeah, and the beauty is, yours is a prime example. Like, it wasn't necessarily anything I would have thought of in the beginning, but you sort of, you got to see it and maybe experiment with it and come up with an idea that I hadn't anticipated.
Yeah, it's fun, and I think all classes should have some sort of SPLOT going on, in my opinion.
Well, maybe. I tend to find uses for them in most of my classes or my projects, but they have a lot of possibilities, and there's a lot more I'd like to build on. They're kind of a sideline hobby. Occasionally I get a project where I get to sort of focus some more time on their development. But
Yeah.
It's wonderful to see how some of them have spread far and wide.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. We have just like 5 minutes left. Does anybody on here would like to question, comment, concern for anything we talked about today? I think the more people in a webinar, the less likely people are to want to chat out loud. I know I feel the same way.
They're sitting in the back of the room.
How do you go about setting one of these up?
Yeah, good question, Tiffany. Well, they're WordPress themes. You can't run them on WordPress.com because you only have a limited number of themes. So you need to have a self-hosted version or an institution hosted version of WordPress, one that allows you to install custom themes. Some of them require a plugin. There are links to the instructions on the SPLOT.ca site that Terry set up. So it takes a little bit of basic WordPress awareness on how to set it up. Most likely, if that's not your thing, there are people like Terry at your college or institution that can help you with this. So, you know, it's not everybody's cup of tea to sort of get mired down with themes. But what I've tried to do is make it, each one of these comes with like a screen full of options where you can control some of the functionality. So some of them, you know, you could say like, I want my student stuff just to go straight to the site because that's easiest. Other people want to set up moderation, and then sort of toggle on and off many of the features. So some of these things I wanted to make it so people could do without, there's no code involved or anything like that.
What I really liked was like once you got it up and running, Alan's put a bunch of stuff in there to let you know what to do now, how to make it yours, which was very helpful. Just like some pre-published posts and things that to let you know what you need to do to customize it to you. It was pretty awesome.
And that comes with if you just do it on any site, I have like content files that you can import that sort of give you that preloaded content.
Right.
If you happen to be with Reclaim Hosting, which is sort of a web hosting company aimed at educators, they have some like one-click installers set up for some of the SPLOTs, where instead of having to like fiddle with installing the theme and plugins, etc., it kind of comes as a pre-assembled site. I think that's how you started out, Terry.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. But I'm if anyone's interested in trying out, I'm happy to chat more about how to do it.
Yeah, because you're Yoda now.
No, I'm still Chewbacca.
No. I'm turning over the Yoda ears to you, Terry.
No. It's 12:56, so I'm figuring lots of people are needing to get to their next thing. So I want to say thanks to everyone for coming, and thank you, Alan, for being the special guest. I appreciate it.
Oh, sure. Thanks for inviting me in.
And I'll stay here for a minute for anyone who wants to chat more. And I was going to say something else. You are not allowed to sneak out of Blackboard Collaborate without everyone knowing. There's a pop-up. This person left. This person left. This person left.
I know. You don't take it personally, right?
No.
Because I've had to leave, you know?
Yeah.
And that's all fine. Yeah.
If you ever go to the Blue Man group, don't show up late. They make you front and center.
Really?
Yeah. The camera's on you and everyone looks at you, and I don't know if they still do that. That was like 10 years ago that I saw that happen. Gina says, great presentation, Chewbacca and Obi. It was Yoda. Alan is Yoda. You can be Obi-Wan if you want, though.
Oh, whatever.
That's okay, Gina.
I just want to be a little bot, you know? or one of the, it's been so long since I've seen a Star Wars movie. I'm going to embarrass myself.
I haven't seen the newest one.
No.
But I don't know if Yoda's in them.
I'm kind of like the old school ones.
Yeah, definitely the originals are my favorite.
Yeah, actually, I'll show how old I am. In 10th grade English, that was our high school field trip to see the premiere of the very first Star Wars, because our teacher made a case that the plot line was a classic Western, which we were studying.